That was Davy Jones singing one of the Monkees' biggest ever hits, Daydream Believer. That show became a genuine worldwide sensation. One of my favourites as a child back in Britain. So it was a very sad day for all the fans of the Monkees to hear that David Jones had died this morning in Florida of an apparent heart attack. Davy's longtime friend and bandmate Micky Dolenz joins me now exclusively to remember his great lifetime friend. Micky, thank you so much for joining me. It must be an incredibly difficult day for you.
That's an understatement. Yeah, it's a shock right out of the blue. No one ever suspected, you know. What can you say? It's just total shock. I'm still just a little bit numbed by it all.
How did you hear the news?
My wife called me this morning. I was still in bed. Actually, she was out shopping, and she got a call from her sister who said she heard it on the news, and I thought it was another, frankly, I thought it might have been another one of those internet stupid joke, hoaxes. I hoped it was, but obviously it was not.
You'd stayed in touch with Davy over the years, hadn't you? Were you good friends?
Well, yeah, we were quite good friends. If you know the history of the Monkees, it was a television show that was cast about this band that wanted to be the Beatles. And I remember actually quite clearly those early casting sessions. And David and I sort of hit it off pretty early and quickly because we both had histories in showbiz as childs. I had a series when I was a kid called Circus Boy, and he had been on Broadway doing Oliver. So we sort of had a lot in common. And over the years, our families and he and I, we bonded. I mean, after 47 years working with people like that, he was like my brother. We were like siblings. Yeah.
The strange thing about this is that people are saying that Davy was incredibly fit. He was a vegetarian. He worked out every day. He lived in Florida. And that, therefore, his death from a heart attack is a real shock to those that knew him well.
Total. I mean, like I say, he would have been the last one I would have thought. He was the youngest of us. I would have thought it would have been me. I'm not a vegetarian. And I said, it is. I mean, I'm just bewildered. I'm anxious to talk to some of his family and friends and find out what was going on. But then again, it could be a bit genetic. I know both his parents had passed over at a younger age. So who knows? That may have something to do with it or not. Who knows these days? But boy, I'm just everyone is in total shock.
Obviously, the band were huge in the late 60s, 70s, and then life moves on. What kind of life did Davy have in the last few years? Was he content with his life, do you think?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. He was a huge fan of horse racing. He raised race horses. He had 2 farms, one in Pennsylvania, one in Florida. And he would go back and forth in the season and work. And basically, even when we were on the road, it was almost all he would talk about was getting back to his horses. It was his first love. He was a jockey. An apprentice jockey before, way before the Monkees, way before he got into show business. In fact, just like a week or two ago, I saw on the internet that he went back to England and he connected with the original owner or trainer at a stable, who's the one that had said, you ought to get in the showbiz, because I guess as like a 16-year-old or something, he was going to be an apprentice jockey. And somebody said, you're really funny and cute and you can sing. You should, try out for some some parts, which he did. And of course, the rest is history. But ever since I've known him, I went riding with him. We both were equestrian fanatics, actually. He loved the racing. I liked polo and jumping. But I remember going out and racing racehorses with him around the track. Yeah. So that was definitely a first love. And so he must have been out there every day. I know he was working out, mucking out the stables, taking care of the horses, grooming them. It's a lot of hard work. So, I'm bewildered. I just don't know.
When was the last time you spoke to him, Micky?
Would have been just a few months ago. We did a massive, great tour. The last show was, not the last show, but one of the biggest shows was at the Greek Theater that we did just months ago, and it was a huge success, and the reviews were wonderful, and we left that particular tour on a huge high note. I mean, but we've done that over the years every single time, and whenever the Monkees was our 20th anniversary in '86 was the biggest grossing tour of that year, 20 years after the show. In '97, '98, we toured England and then the States, huge. And then just recently, this last tour got some of the best reviews we've ever had. We even got a great review from Rolling Stone. Who would have thought? So yeah, I mean.
And did that bring Davy a lot of pleasure? The fact that you guys were back together and getting great reviews and so on.
Always did. Well, it did all of us. Yeah, I mean, it only happened once every, say, 10 years or so, and which is not uncommon. But remember, the Monkees wasn't this like classic sort of band that, in that sense. It was originally this television show about a band, much in the same way that Glee is about a glee club.
But well, actually, Micky, hold that thought, because we're going to take a short break. I want to come back and talk about the genesis of the Monkees. How? Because I remember as a young boy watching this incredible show, and then you all went on to become a conventional band, but it was always the wrong way round, or maybe it was the right way round.
Maybe it was the right way round.
Yeah. Let's talk after the break some more about that and about Davy. That was the incredibly infectious theme song from NBC's The Monkees, and Micky Dolenz is back with me now, remembering the late, great Davy Jones. It brings such memories back to me, Micky. I was a young lad in Britain, and obviously Davy came from the north of England. He was an English lad at heart.
Manchester.
And just even hearing that theme tune, I remember just getting up, because Saturday mornings they used to air it, and everyone was crazy for the Monkees.
Yeah, all over the world. I mean, the producers and writers of the show, clearly got it right. It was a television show, like I said, about this band, originally an imaginary band that wanted to be the Beatles. It was a garage band. It's funny because Ringo once said to me, the Beatles, we were a garage band. And even more ironically, I'm here in New York this week doing a reading for a new musical on Broadway called Garage Band. I mean, the coincidences are just phenomenal. But that's what the Monkees was about. It was about this garage band that wanted to be big. And on the television show, we never made it. It's an important point. We obviously became huge, on the road when we did go on the road. But when they cast the show, they cast it with these four guys that I guess the producers felt they all had this, very, kind of chemistry, and the audition process went on and on and on. I'm fairly.
I've actually got Micky. I've got Davy's screen test.
Oh, that's
for the
wonderful!
TV show,
You got
which
to
I
see
wanted
this.
to play.
You got to see this.
Yeah, let's watch this. And
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Views are spontaneous and unrehearsed.
What do you want me to do?
Dan, it's one of your little quick things. Hey, Davy, you want to know something? Honestly, hold it for a second.
What?
I really think you should have been a jockey.
of course, the irony is he would have loved to have been a jockey,
yeah.
probably.
He was supposed to be a jockey, but thank goodness he got this advice from someone and went on to be just an incredible talent and a wonderful performer and such a lovely person and such a wonderful friend and a heart of gold. Would just do anything for you, anything, anywhere, and had lovely children who I feel, so much pain for right now. But he, I'm sure, was one of the first that the producers would have said, oh, yeah, him, definitely. I don't know where I came in down the line. But I do recall quite clearly in the early audition process, David and I, like I say, we kind of connected early on because of our history probably in the, as child stars. And they paired us together early on, I remember that. And we did these scenes together, and we kind of connected together. And you know, had some kind of a rap and a thing and a stuff and, you know, bada bing, bada boom, because, again, I guess because of our history in the business. But, you know, he, obviously, he was, you know, the heart and soul. You know, he was the heart and soul of the show.
Did he remain proud of his English roots, Micky?
Oh, absolutely. You know, he had family back there, still does. And I went over to England. In fact, we went over to England in the mid-'70s to do a play together, and I ended up staying over there for years and had a family over there, an English family. I'm quite an Anglophile myself. Yeah, he certainly did. Sisters and aunts and uncles, and you know, he never gave that up, and loved it, and was back there, if I'm not mistaken, even back recently. And we were back there just last year, opening in Liverpool. You know, we had a killer tour over there, an English tour. It was wonderful.
When you're hearing all the tributes today, Micky, and all the music being played again and so on, what's your abiding memory of Davy Jones?
Oh boy, there's a lot. You know, we used to. I guess the first thing I started thinking about was when we would hang out together. Like it was actually just after the big monkey thing, the roller coaster ride, and it was just after that we would hang out together with our families because we both happened to have children about the same time. And so he and I, you know, for that reason alone, I mean, we became very close. He would come over to the house, we would laugh, and I got film and video, and old, not video, before video, 8mm film of our families playing together and our kids swimming and stuff like that, and just having a great time. And that is how I want to remember him, and I will, you know, as a good friend, as this, he became a brother, you know, like a sibling.
Well, I can only offer you my deepest condolences, Micky. I was a huge fan of the Monkees, of Davy, of you, of all of the gang, and it's a very sad day, I think, for many, many people around the world today, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time to come on and pay such a personal tribute to your great friend.
Well, you ain't kidding. Thanks.
Thank you very much. As Micky Dolenz there, paying a very personal tribute to his great friend, and as he put it, his brother from the Monkees, Davy Jones.